What is up, you guys? My name is Joy from Joyful Delights and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today on my channel, I'm going to be creating a pizza cake. All the tools I used to make this cake happen will be listed in the description box below. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and leave any suggestions that you would like to see me make into a cake next in the comment section. Without further ado, let's cut to the cake. What's up, you guys? So I start off by taking a 10-inch round vanilla cake. I'm going to cover that in some chocolate ganache. It doesn't have to be perfectly smooth because our crust isn't going to be perfect, so this cake is perfect for beginners. After that's covered, we're going to pop it in the freezer or the fridge until it's nice and solid. Now we're going to take our fondant. I have 3 different shades. I have this red, and I have a darker red and some white. And I just divided the red into 3 sections. I'm going to roll it out about a 1/4 inch thick. I'm going to take my white fondant and make 3 white logs on each red strip. It's going to look like bacon at first, but that's okay. It's going to come together. It's going to be beautiful. To create this red, I just took some Wilton No Taste red and I mixed it with a little bit of brown. So you're going to see me repeat this process a few times. You're going to take the lighter shade of red and roll it out about a 1/4 inch thick. Then you're going to take 3 logs of white fondant and place them directly on top of the red. You don't necessarily need an adhesive, but you can add a little bit of water just to ensure that they stick. And it's okay if they're different sizes and length as well. So now I'm repeating this process one last time. I'm just going to add those 3 logs of white fondant, and then after I'm done with this, I'm going to take my darker shade of red, which to make the red a little darker, I just added a little bit more brown and a little bit more red just to give that a richer color, and that's going to act as our casing. But before that, I'm going to cut it in half and kind of just twist the colors together. You don't want to do this too much because you don't want the white to completely disappear within the red or turn pink or anything. So I twist it together like that about 3 times, and I kind of just bring it back to its round shape. And then you're going to see me make the pepperoni casing, and this casing really gives it a nice realistic look, so you don't want to skip this part. So I'm just placing the log that I just created inside of my casing, and I'm pinching each end just to ensure that it's nice and secure. And then I'm cutting it in half. And after I cut it in half, I'm going to place it in the freezer. But I just want you guys to see the texture that we created with the pepperoni. Doesn't it look so real? You see the little white speckles and the darker outside. So you're going to stick that into the freezer until it's nice and solid and easier to cut. So while our pepperoni is firming up in the freezer, we're going to start working on our mushrooms. I'm going to take some white fondant and roll it out relatively thick, about 1/2 inch thick. Then I'm going to take an Exacto knife and kind of create an oval shape and cut that out. And instead of completing an oval, you're going to create the stem of the mushroom. Then I'm taking a Dresden Tool and adding some indentations on the edges of the mushroom where the stem comes out, and then I cut it down just a little shorter. You're going to repeat this for however many mushrooms you would like. I did about 4 of them. So you see me repeating this process a few times, and then we're going to go in with some brown food coloring and lemon extract just to make those mushrooms look super realistic. I'm also using powdered sugar on my surface so the fondant doesn't get really sticky, hence the reason my fingers are covered in powdered sugar. But you can use cornstarch, shortening, powdered sugar, whatever you would like, just to make sure that the fondant isn't sticking to everything. Now that my mushroom shapes are completed, I'm going to take some Wilton Brown food coloring and I'm going to dilute it just a little bit with some lemon extract and take a small brush. And you see me painting the outside edges of the mushroom first. And I'm going to repeat this process on all of the mushrooms. And it doesn't have to be perfect, because all we're going to do is take some more lemon extract and we're going to take what we created on the outside and kind of just blend it in inside the mushroom. So you want the outside to be a little darker, then you're going to take some lemon extract and just a little bit more brown food coloring and kind of blend it all in the center of the mushroom. And don't forget the edges as well. So now that we're all done with our pepperoni and mushroom toppings, we're going to roll out some modeling chocolate. And I wrote this pretty thin, and this is going to go on top of our chilled round cake. So before I covered my cake in the modeling chocolate, I took some rolled up balls of modeling chocolate and just randomly placed them around the edges of the crust to mimic those bubbles that you see in a real pizza crust when it bubbles up on the side when it's being cooked. That's my favorite part. So now I'm just adding some texture with my ball tool. You're also going to go in with your hands just to kind of give the crust a more realistic look and put some dents inside of that modeling chocolate. Now for the fun part, we're going to take our blowtorch and we're going to torch the crust so it looks like it just got out of the oven. Caution, this is dangerous. It is real fire. So you want to make sure that your board is completely covered in cake. Your cake boards are flammable. And you also want it to be on a surface like I did with this upside down cake pan so that your turntable, which mine is plastic, won't get burned. So be very, very careful. Now for my tomato sauce, I took some strawberry preserves and some red food coloring and I thinned it out a little bit with some light corn syrup, and look at it. It looks so good. And it gives the cake a nice strawberry flavor as well. Now it's time to assemble everything. So you're going to take your cake first and then that nice tomato sauce that we just made. And then on top of that, after you spread it all out, you're going to take a cheese grater and some chilled modeling chocolate. So here's my cheese grater. And you want to leave your modeling chocolate in the fridge or the freezer for about 10-15 minutes. And we're going to grate it like it's real cheese. And then after this, we're going to bring out our blowtorch again. So before that, I just added some of my toppings just under the cheese. And then we're going to take my blowtorch and just melt the cheese down a little bit. And then I'm going to add some more cheese, melt that down a little bit more. And now I'm going to add the rest of my toppings. You also want to make sure that your blowtorch is in a super low setting so that you don't burn your cheese or any of your other toppings. And you can also see how sticking that pepperoni log into the freezer made it really easy to get those realistic spheres. And look guys, we're done with our piece of cake. It looks so real. And now I'm about to cut into it. You know what time it is. We came here to eat cake. And this cake was delicious. The blowtorch gave the modeling chocolate like this crispy exterior. It was amazing. That strawberry filling, oh my gosh, that chocolate ganache. You guys have to try this cake. It's so good.
Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you give me a like, comment down below, and hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the bell notification so you don't miss a single one. Until next week,